Hey, everybody, it's Jeff here once again with the Money Trekker podcast. And this is one of our expert days. And I'm bringing on my friend Blake Foster from Farmers Insurance here in Austin area. We're going to talk a little bit today about, coming out of COVID and what people need to be thinking about with their commercial insurance right now. We talked with Blake about a year ago as we were all going into lockdown. He was working with a lot of his clients and starting to talk to them about, okay, what's the appropriate amount of insurance that you need if your space is shut down or you're not dealing with a lot of customers. Well, now we're in the opposite. We're a year later, and now we're talking about everything's opening up. And what do you need to be looking at? What do you need to be considering when it comes to your commercial insurance? So stay tuned. We'll be right back here in a minute. Hey, everybody, it's Jeff here, and we're really excited today on the Money Trekker podcast to have my friend Blake Foster on from Farmers Insurance. Blake, how you doing, buddy?
Good, great. Enjoying this beautiful weather for a change. And you know how long, we don't know how long.
I'm enjoying the fact that we've had 100 day all year long so far. And yes, we live with humidity, but you're from Louisiana, so this should be nothing for you.
Absolutely. Easy to deal with. Easy.
Well, let's kick off a little bit and let everybody get to know you a little bit, Blake. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to Texas and how you got into the insurance business?
So I was a subcontractor back in Louisiana, and up until the housing market changed around 2008. I was newly married, about to have a kid, didn't know what to do. My mom knew someone in the banking business, so I ended up starting at a small community bank. And that's kind of when I got the opportunity to learn about getting to know your customers, helping them out on a regular basis. And I always leaned towards the commercial side of the banking industry. Years forward, I moved to Austin, Texas back in 2012, me and my wife and kids, since we would always come and visit mom. We just loved it so much. We also had a small net community that were from New Orleans that were here too. Our kids were same age, and so we knew each other for years. And so it kind of helped out with our decision on moving here as well. Plus grandma's down the street and retired. You can't beat that at all. Right?
Built-in babysitter.
Absolutely. So, that's really was the motivation right there. Plus there were more opportunities here that I saw that I could grow, after getting here, jump ship to Wells Fargo, where I was able to, I was getting promoted every 9 or 10 months. And I find myself back in commercial banking. And that's where my passion grew. And being a business owner, talking to business owners, those are my favorite type of people. And when this opportunity was presented to purchase this small agency out here in Spicewood, I definitely jumped at it. My kids were old enough, and I wanted to take that leap of faith to get out here and help everybody once again. So that's really the nutshell of it. And I've been doing it for the last 4 years, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, that and it's fun to be part of the community and everything else, out where you're at. So tell me a little bit about, I know when we talked a year ago, you were working with some folks to, kind of get themselves buttoned down for COVID. What's the advice you're given now, when it comes to commercial insurance for coming out of COVID now?
It's crazy. COVID has allowed so many people to become entrepreneurs. If they've been furloughed from jobs, laid off or whatever, and this opportunity to take an idea and manifest it into a business has been something that we've seen explode over the last year. For those who kind of taken their coverages back, have kind of sat back and maybe close their business for a little while and are coming back out of it, what I tell them, this is your opportunity to make sure that you have what you need. And what I mean by that is, have that conversation with your insurance agent. Say, hey, I'm about to get back in this. The doors are about to open. Before I do this, let's take a look at this line by line. Because typically, not one policy fits all. When we're writing these commercial policies, we are tailoring it to the business and what you do. So those questions need to be asked from your agent. Hey, what are you doing? What are you planning on doing? What are you planning on doing 5 months, 5 years, 10 years? Really, really getting to know what your business is going to grow into because your policy is going to change. This is the time for those reviews that we talk about on a regular basis because you want to make sure that you're 100% ready. We do know that anything can happen. Anything. I tell people in the insurance industry, maybe a little doom and gloom, but we're really trying to prepare you for the worst. That's really what it comes back to. We hope it never happens. Trust me, we do not want you to fail. Especially having my commercial background and being a business owner now and before, I do know the headache it can take to just run your business on a regular basis. You don't also want to worry about if something happens, am I protected? That should be the last thing on your mind. So that conversation is first and foremost, and that's what you should be doing right now, coming out of this pandemic.
It's the same it's the same conversation we have when it comes to financial plan. It's like, man, I can design the most badass, financial plan you're ever going to see in your life and everything planned out. And if you die tomorrow, it just screws the whole thing up. So we got to insure that away.
Absolutely. It makes a difference. It makes sense to have those conversations right now.
Sure. Well, and I think that's fantastic. So what are, when people are, what are the most common things that you're seeing, as you're reviewing things with clients, what are some of the common things that you're seeing that people need to kind of be careful with?
You're going to have your liability and your property covered. That's what it should. That's the baseline that you should have in place. It's those line items that you want to pay attention to. Those included coverages under the policy. If you're a commercial painter, you won't have the same coverage as a commercial plumber. So those line items is something you really, really need to think about. For those people who have started a business during this COVID, the main thing that I hear, and it sends a shiver down my spine, wake me up at night, whenever they say, my business is too small to have insurance. I've heard that so often in the last year. And people don't understand that once you decide to be a business owner, the first day you take on risks and you can be sued that first day. So have a conversation with an insurance agent. Speak to me. I'm here to, but the main thing is talk to a trusted agent, find out what you need to make sure you have the coverage. Even those small business owners that are just starting, you really need to be looking at coverage. And you would be surprised, especially those home businesses. We're looking at, $30 a month, $40 a month. You would be surprised at how cheap commercial insurance is for those small business owners.
Yeah. Well, now, and this is, I think, something that most people don't understand is, let's say you start a business and it's a home-based business and you've got inventory on site, that isn't covered by your home policy, right?
It isn't. It is not. And then, as a matter of fact, in some cases, depending on the loss, it will void your home coverage.
Oh, jeez.
I've seen it, to where I've had a conversation with someone who was doing hair out of their home, and they decided to they changed their garage up to be a little salon. And I had to tell them, I had to make the hard decision and say, hey, listen, you should not have a hair salon in your home. And if you have any loss, a tornado can come and tear your house down that had nothing to do with the salon. Your insurance company is going to find out that you have one in here and you will not be covered.
Yeah.
So these are the things people need to, and they don't think about this, you know, and this is the things you really do need to have a serious conversation with your insurance agent about.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's, that's the funny part too. It's like, okay, all you need is maybe a small little liability policy or a small little commercial policy that's maybe $100 a month.
Maybe.
Okay. Are you willing to risk not only your home, because your home insurance may be voided for just $100? I mean, just build it into your plan and consult with a real estate agent or with a commercial agent to just talk about that and okay, is this an issue? What do I need to do?
Absolutely, and it doesn't cost you anything to ask questions.
Yeah.
Now that's people all the time. When I ask them when's the last time they had any conversation, they'll tell me 2 years, a year. I don't even know who my agent is.
Yeah.
That's not good. Because we grow, we change, we do things, we add, we take away, we have children, we get married. You should be checking in annually, if nothing else, um, because your policy is supposed to change and grow with you as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember this very well. I mean, I was with we'll just say a large insurance company for years. And I mean, I think I had my policy with them for 10 years and never heard from my agent one time in that whole time period. And since that point, I was like, I ended up changing agents, and I'm like, I expect to have that conversation once a year, and just even if it's a 10-minute check-in, hey, here's what's going on, has anything changed? I mean, that's just part of doing your job.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what an agent should be doing as well.
Yeah.
I reach out to every single one of my customers around renewal every single year. There's an email that goes out. Do you have time? And let's talk about it. Some people say no. Well, I'll keep it like it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I want to make sure that I'm here.
Yeah.
That makes the difference.
It wasn't for want of me not asking. If you don't want to take advantage of it, that's fine. But if I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, I'm here, and that's people's businesses change, and they don't understand also your policy rates based on the type of business you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing 200,000 one year, we're going to write the policy for 200,000 worth of business.
Yep.
Have that large customer and made $1 million the next, your policy is written for $200,000 worth of business.
Yeah.
It's a matter of conversation, and it's a matter of making sure that you're covered, your business is covered, and you don't have to worry about it. You know that if it all crumbles and it all falls, you're going to get a check.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're not going to get any big surprises. Yeah, that's the big thing. I was underinsured, and I don't even have enough to rebuild my business at this point. I'm going to pay off my loan, and then I'm out of a job and a business at the same time. So
absolutely. So it's worth the conversation for sure.
Yeah, awesome. I know, there's been a big, and I'm springing this on you, so hopefully you can answer this question. Been a huge amount of these cyber threats and stuff like that. And I know inside of a lot of commercial policies, there is cyber insurance. Can you talk to that at all? I mean, is it something that you should get additional cyber insurance on top of that, or is it adequate in most policies?
It is adequate. There is always additional coverage you can get. There's always more limit of insurance that you can get. Typically, if it's built in, you can raise that, and it also will default to the liability of the policy as well. Okay. And mainly what it is, you want to think about, it's not you that we're protecting. It's your customers and your livelihood that we're protecting when we talk about cyber liability. Because if you get a breach and you've been collecting customer information, you are now on the hook for whatever customer's information has been leaked. And so that's really when you talk about cyber liability, that's really what it goes to. Is it necessary in all aspects? Because you have laborers and contractors that, get checks and they don't do anything. But understandably, under that coverage is also your documentation, your documents, your programs, your computers in your office. So it's worth talking about, making sure that you have the limits there. And you can choose what you're comfortable with. It doesn't have to be 10 million, but you get that opportunity to choose.
Yeah. Now, one of the cool things I think, knowing you over the years, I think one of the neat things for you is people think, well, you're a farmer's agent, so you're captive to farmers and that's all you can offer. But on the commercial side, that's not true, right?
This is exactly right. They have allowed us, farmers does well with a lot of things, a lot of different types of businesses. But what they have allowed us to do is make sure that we are taking care of our customers. And that's really what it comes back to. Yes, we can only sell a certain amount of products on the personal side of business, but they also know our customers have all types of businesses.
Yeah.
And so I have maybe 30 different carriers outside of farmers that I do write commercial insurance with. And so just like any independent agent, that allows me to give you money saving options. I can pull from every single direction to be able to get you the best coverage and what you need.
Yeah.
At the right premium as well.
Well, and that's, different insurance companies have different appetites for risk. And I mean, I think it's smart for you as a business owner where it's like, okay, I'm not, now I'm not in well, farmers doesn't want to take this risk. I can't write any commercial insurance mode. It allows you to be flexible with that piece of it.
Absolutely. And I think just my overall comfort with commercial customers over years just gave me even more than confidence to say, hey, I'm going to go out here and write every single type of business, no matter what it is, large, small, $50 million buildings to embroidery at home, so I covered the gambit for sure.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's fantastic. What's new in your world now?
So we just purchased MetLife.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
So that is going to broaden some of our production and some of our product offerings as well. So we're waiting to see what that looks like. They haven't migrated anything over yet, but there's some more opportunity coming down the pipeline. We've expanded our commercial auto platform as well. So now I have 3 more carriers that I can write commercial auto with, give you some options there.
Nice.
Overall, within farmers, we've just taken a look at all of our rates and how well we're doing business. And we've adjusted a lot of things as far as our commercial policies are concerned, offering more credits. The longer you've been doing something, the bigger opportunity for a discount is there as well. So those experienced business owners, we have an experience worksheet that we can do that say, hey, I've been doing this for 20 years. We're going to compensate you for that. And so it's a big deal. We have different opportunities to add on additional packages and things, just give you more money saving options.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, it sounds like they're just doing everything right. And I mean, now that you got Snoopy as part of the farmers family, so you get the little Snoopy dolls.
Absolutely.
Every time when I would go to a retirement convention, they'd always have MetLife there, and they'd have the little Snoopies. So I'd pick them up for family and friends. So
yep.
That's awesome. Well, let's take a moment for a break, and then we're going to come back with the Fast 5 questions from Blake and find out a little bit about his background when it comes to that stuff. So hold on. We'll be right back here for a minute.
Hey, it's Jeff here for T-Works Co-working. T-Works Co-working is a shared office space with everything from desks for you to share up to offices and everything in between. And T-Works has locations in Cedar Park, Texas, in Northwest Austin in the 4 Points area, and Dripping Springs. So if you need a place to work, you need to get out of the house, you need some help really building up your business, visit www.t-works.com. That's www.t-works.com.
Hey everybody, we're back and we're going to hit the Fast 5 questions with Blake. So Blake, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, my friend. So right out of the gate, you wake up in the morning, business is totally gone. You got $500 in your pocket. You've got a laptop computer. You've got a place to live, food, clothing. What do you do first?
I'm going to buy something that I can sell and double my money. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Research my laptop and see what I can sell.
I like this. I've never heard anybody do that one before. Usually it's like, well, I'll go buy people lunch and all that stuff, but that's the first one. Find something to sell. I'm gonna turn that $500 into 1,000, into 5,000, and keep going.
Keep going. Yep.
Awesome. I love that one. What's the biggest business mistake that you've ever made?
Take risks. Find your lane. I'm going to give you the one that helped me out. Find your lane and just work the hell out of it.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was my biggest thing, trying to adapt to what some of my peers were doing and just getting more frustrated that it wasn't working for me. And one of my peers just told me, find your lane and just work the hell out of it. And it changed everything.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you know, you can do all kinds of other insurance, but I mean, you just found commercial was your jam, and it works exceptionally well. And then, like I said, I've watched you grow over the years where it was like, okay, well, I only have farmers to offer, and I'm kind of in this commercial thing halfway. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, I'm just going to do this. And now you're an expert in it. And, you know, people come to you because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
That's fantastic. Okay. So Blake is not a big book guy, but he's a movie freak. So Blake, what's the favorite movie for you?
You know, I tend to fall into those long 3.5-hour drawn out crime dramas.
Okay.
You know, so The Irishman was the latest one that I saw that was phenomenal.
Which one?
The Irishman.
Oh, oh yeah, that was good.
It was good.
Yeah, it was long, but I was one of those I found. I happened to be on a trip down in Florida. I was at a conference, and so I was in a hotel room for 3 days, and I was like, you know what? My wife doesn't want to watch this. I'm going to watch it. And it was long, but I found myself like completely engrossed in it.
Yeah, I love those type of movies. My wife, she's like your wife. Like, I can't take this. I can't sit here and watch TV. I need to do something. I'll do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, it was a blast. I mean, it was just a really well done movie. I loved all the actors, and it was funny because I watched something on I've got Fox Nation, the online thing, and one of the guys actually like researched that whole thing because he actually got called in before the Irishman died. And, you know, basically told him the story. And so he went and researched all that. And so he had actually gone to that house where supposedly, you know, Hoffa died or whatever. And he'd been inside there. And I mean, literally the set they had for that was exactly, it looked like they actually filmed it in that house.
You see, that's why I'm a movie guy. Because then you start to research this stuff and you start to see it and you're like, mind blown.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, I don't know if that's been proven or not proven or whatever, but I'm like, why would you tell somebody that story if you know, on your deathbed, if it wasn't true or if there wasn't some truth to it?
Absolutely. For sure. I would confess a few things on my deathbed too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm going to hold back a couple things here and there, but I mean, what's the point of, you know, saying that if there wasn't some truth to it in the end? So
absolutely, for sure. Good movie.
That's awesome. Okay, well, cool. What is a tool that you use in your business every day that, you know, someone out there might use? Everything from like an Evernote or some other tool that you use. Doesn't have to be electronic.
So there's actually ZipWhip, and it's on my phone. There's a computer app, and it is a way to send text messages to customers. So if you're like in the sales business like me, picking up the phone and dialing may not be your niche, but you can customize templates. I've sent PDFs. You can send pictures and really have a conversation through this app. You can put your signature on there and everything. And I use it every single day when I'm cold calling, when I'm sending out renewal reminders, when I'm sending out any type of customer happy birthdays. I use my ZipWhip app.
And so it's Zip. Yeah, Zip Web, W-E-B.
ZipWhip.
Whip. Okay. Cool. All right, so we'll put a link to that in the show notes page because that's interesting. I've not heard of that one before, so that sounds pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Email or text. That's usually the quickest.
Okay.
bfoster@farmersagent.com. You can also text my number at 512-382-0967. That is the office line, but I do receive texts via ZipWhip. Hey, so
Nice. And you'll get a text back from him via that as well.
Exactly. It comes directly to my phone and everything. So no matter where I'm at, I'm real hands-on. I'm always working on life fusses because I was on a Florida vacation, sitting on the beach answering emails.
Love it.
So that's how you get a hold of me. It's easy. You can reach me anytime.
That's fantastic. Well, cool, my friend. This was fantastic. Great stuff, folks. I highly recommend that you reach out to him. And yeah, I mean, Blake and I have been friends for several years. Full disclosure, he's actually my commercial insurance agent because he's awesome. So I would highly recommend that you use him or just leverage him. If you've got questions on this, if you've got questions, you want somebody to just look over your coverage, reach out to him. He's one of the most knowledgeable people I know when it comes to commercial insurance, and has really taken the time to learn all those providers that he has, that are available to him out there, so that he really understands what works for each. Of course, as always, these shows are going to be out here on whatever channel. If you have any questions, you can either email Blake or put notes in the comments section, and we'll get that information over to Blake to get back with you. We'll also address anything on future shows. So whatever you're listening to us, whether it's Rumble, YouTube, any of the podcast channels, iHeartRadio, we're on all of them. Whichever one you like, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, we have a few shows we sneak in here and there that you aren't going to know about off of our normal schedule. So the only way you're going to learn about those is if you subscribe to the channel. So that said, we'll see you back here next time. It's Jeff here once again.